we are with another question. This came in saying, "Hello, Ms. Rickabaugh. I enjoyed your book on note buying on steroids." I think that's going to be something. I'm kind of going to name my next book that, but he's referring to seller financing on steroids. It's a book I wrote 3 years ago, and the digital versions are updated a little bit from the one you can get on Amazon, but not a whole lot. He says, "I have several questions, but will limit them to just a few right now. Some background on me: I am a real estate investor who has found a niche market to work, and I will be utilizing this niche over the next couple of years to buy and sell, with owner financing, several hundred properties." Yeah, this guy's serious. Okay. "I am finalizing the steps to begin this buying and selling frenzy," that's funny, "and have left the details of note creation and selling to the last. I was able to get a greater understanding of the process, and I thank you for that. My questions have to do with: what is the situation in current times, 2012, regarding the changes in note buying? I noticed that your book was published in 2009, and wondering if you have kept up with the updating on things like SIMO financing." And that's a good question. I do get this question once in a while. The basics and the fundamentals of seller financing and note buying haven't changed. And the thing that's interesting is that the note buying market has become so diverse. You're going to have one investor willing to do something that the other one wouldn't consider doing. So I would say that there's a market. There's people buying paper that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, frankly. They're fighting over non-performing paper at 60 and 70 and 80 cents on the dollar. That's crazy to me. Okay, there is a frenzied sort of, mania going on, it seems like to me, in some genres. But the basics are the same. And regarding simultaneous note sales, do they happen? Yes, I do them quite regularly, actually, and usually they are partials, or there's been like a huge down payment, let's say a 50% down payment, and I feel real confident, for a variety of reasons. So the simultaneous note sale thing does work. The thing that doesn't work anymore is the thing that didn't work in 2009 either. It's rehab or flippers, buying a rehab project, slapping a little paint on it, turning it around, taking 10% down, and then being able to sell their 90% note for 94 cents on the dollar. No. That whole thing's gone with the mortgage-backed securities, and it's still gone. So yes, I asked this because I'm willing to take a bigger hit on the discount on a few of the initial sales, say 5 or so, that would allow me to cash out as much as possible. I would likely sell a partial of, say, 12 to 36 months. Sounding good so far. I'd be interested in that. That's very low investment to value for me, so I'd be feeling pretty cozy about that. And then he'll keep the rest of the payments. So what he's saying is, I like the idea of getting some of my money back out between the down payment and a partial sale of the note, and but I don't whack myself up at the knees, and I still keep the tail end of my paper asset. So it's a good strategy. Let's see. I would set aside some capital to be able to season the rest of the paper for at least 6 months, up to 12 months, and I just want to ensure proper cash flow at the beginning of this adventure, and it is an adventure. And things are changing fast all the time, aren't they? Things that were true a month ago aren't true this month, and it won't be the same next month either. Things are changing very, very fast. From the sounds of it, I will want to establish a land trust to do the transaction with many cases anyway, and that may be true, especially depending on the state and the situation and a variety of factors. Of course, standard disclaimer, you have to discuss with your attorney. Sadly, many attorneys do not understand land trust law because there's not a lot of money in it for them, so they usually do not understand land trust law. I would recommend, in fact, I'll put a link below this video of a guy I think you can do really well learning from on land trust, so you can check that out. Let's see. Land trust. I assume that means I have to separate have a separate land trust for each property. Yes, most people do. and I have to buy and sell in the land trust name. Uh, yeah, you can sell the beneficial interest of the trust instead of the actual deed to the property. Okay. Are there any restrictions that you are aware of buying REO from the banks in the name of a trust? Yes, I find that they won't do it. They hate it because you can basically you can do this. You can hide the true ownership of the property. You can get around their 90-day rules, and as my experience is that they're not title will not give you. They won't let you close in the name of a trust, and title will not insure it actually. So it's very hard to do, yeah, in many areas. And let me know. Write me a comment below if I'm wrong and you know something different. So it's all changing all the time. Can I buy in an LLC? Yes. And then transfer the deed to the trust after closing? Yes, but you have to, I don't know if that 90-day rule is going to be repealed or not. Like, they don't want you to transfer title of the property, usually on short sales or REOs, for up to 90 days or something like that. You know, crazy. Okay. More from, this is James, actually. Thank you, James. I'm looking for a long-term relationship with one person. Monogamy. Preferably who can handle the volume of contracts that I intend to purchase and sell. I guess I would love to see if that's a good fit. I don't know what kind of volume, frankly, but if you're only selling a few, you're only going to sell a couple of up to five right in the beginning, I think you'll easily get we can work something out, and you'll sort of get an idea of the basic maybe 5 to 10 ways that you're gonna structure your deal. So not everything has to be rediscovering the wheel, reinventing the wheel. I would like to know what your interest would be in this kind of relationship. Hi. We obviously have to have many more discussions, about the situation, but on the surface, is this something you'd be interested in providing? Yes. I do quite a bit of consulting in the context of hopefully getting to buy a note. I don't always get to, but a lot of times I'm just retained to help people think about the exit strategies and the implications of how they're structuring their deal and how to avoid some of the worst pitfalls that will cost them thousands and thousands of dollars in mistakes and higher discounts, or in not being able to sell the note at all. I'm concerned. Okay, here's another big thing. I'm concerned about the new laws involving the sale of over 3 properties, Dodd-Frank, SAFE Act, all those sort of things that actually Mitt Romney wants to repeal them. So maybe we won't even have to deal with Dodd-Frank and maybe the consumer CFB, Consumer Board of Consumer Affairs. Anyway, it's that new thing that was, it's a four-letter word. Anyway, the agency that was supposed to oversee all of these regulations, it's thought that it's pretty foo-foo and not really doing anything anyway. But everything it's likely that it will go the way. But if it doesn't, so far they're pretty vague in what I've heard and seen about exactly what the enforcement's going to be like, or exactly how they're going to interpret some of the gray areas or the ambiguous language in HUD, etc. Do you qualify as a mortgage loan originator? No, I am not an LMO. I am not a licensed mortgage originator. I have a real estate broker's license, and I have an RN license. But I did not go ahead and decide to do, jump through all the hoops and pay all the money to be a licensed mortgage originator. It is sort of not relevant to my business. Would I have to hire someone else to put my deals together? Maybe. Depends on how many you're doing, what state you're in, and all of that. My consulting would be, from a top-down level, and telling or putting in my 2 cents on the types of professionals that you would need to gather and the types of processes you probably want to look at implementing. But I am not an attorney and I am not a CPA. Okay, simply I'm someone who's on the secondary market and seeing what it takes to get deals done in my part of the world. Let's see. Would it be best to bring someone who is licensed in-house rather than third party? That's a good question. if you're doing plenty, in some states, just hiring a licensed mortgage originator might be good enough. In other states, they might just make you your company become a licensed mortgage originator to do tons of these things. Then you're going to have to, follow all the guidelines for ability to pay and debt to income and doing all the things. You have to be just like have to underwrite someone like you're doing bank financing, which in my mind is ridiculous because you wouldn't need owner financing if you could go get a bank loan. So anyway, thanks for your time and consideration, James. Okay, anyway, this was kind of a long one, but lots of great questions in there from James, and hope that helps, and I wish you the best, James. And if you want to give me a call, or I think usually the first place to start when we're building a big process and a big operation is it usually starts with a consultation, and I have a very reasonable retainer rate, and so please feel free to email me at support@notequeen.com. The email's below, or you can call 626-470-3477. All right, thank you. On to the next question.